Well, back now to our top story from last hour. The Obama campaign ramping up a new line of attack on Governor Romney, with one report suggesting the idea may have come in a meeting between the president and his top advisors in the day after last week's debate. Take a listen to the messaging from the president's advisors and his supporters over the last few days as the Democrats take a look at the tightening poll numbers and ramp up their claim that Mr. Romney is a liar.
Are you saying that Governor Romney lied or was dishonest?
Well, yeah, I think he was dishonest, absolutely.
Plenty of people have pointed out what a liar Mitt Romney is and was last night. I mean, if he was talking, if he was speaking last night, he was lying.
You know, I think that expected an aggressive debater to show up last night on the debate stage with Barack Obama. We didn't expect an aggressively dishonest debater to show up, and that's what we got in Mitt Romney.
Many people are saying now that what they saw was the Governor Romney that they have known all along, and that what's been the problem in the past is they haven't seen that person, and he finally emerged during the debate.
So you mean he lied through his teeth in the Republican primaries when he said he was going to cut taxes for wealthy people?
We recall that he is the Etch-a-Sketch guy, has transformed himself, and quite frankly, we always have to wonder which Mitt is going to show up. And so if you just lay out lie after lie after lie about your own plan, as well as what the president has been talking about, of course you can look good.
Doug Schoen is a former advisor to President Bill Clinton, and Pat Caddell is a former pollster for President Carter. Both are Fox News contributors. So obviously there's a theme here.
Yes, there's clearly a theme.
And that's no accident.
No, it isn't. Look, this comes from the top. They regrouped the Obama campaign after the debate, a disastrous debate by all polls and all accounts, and they decided they had to go back to a narrative, Megyn, that has worked, which is the most virulent attacks possible on Governor Romney. Attack him as a felon, attack him as a criminal, a murderer, whatever. It's worked. They were ahead when they were doing it. They have 29 days left. Their bottom line is it worked then, it'll work now. Call him a liar. It'll get the president reelected.
He literally has been attacked as a possible felon by the Obama campaign and by Priorities USA, the super PAC that supports President Obama, as a murderer, as somebody who's responsible for the death of a man's wife. And now it is
only a liar.
Now it's a liar.
Right.
But you tell me, Pat, is this an effective campaign strategy, and is it an okay?
It has worked in the past because Romney hasn't been on the stage. The problem is 70 million Americans saw a debate. They could see for 90 minutes where they made a judgment about Governor Romney and the president, and they made a judgment. This is much harder now. And let me tell you the other problem the president's campaign has, because Doug's right, this is coming from the top, which is this disconnect between the president being one thing and the campaign being another. Well, the problem is in that debate, the president never backed up the claims of his campaign. I'm surprised the Romney people haven't put a torpedo through his advertising. But here's the problem. The president was elected to be, remember the thing that disappointed voters have said all year, people who voted for Obama in 2008, is he promised to bring change. He'd be a different kind of politician. What is he becoming? A man desperate to be reelected, willing to say and attack his opponent for anything. This being a man who once said we should bring the country together.
Well, and speaking of that, so we teed up this soundbite, and there are plenty of them. But take a listen to a very different sounding Barack Obama back in September of 2009, after he had been called a liar by Joe Wilson on the House floor.
We have to get to the point where we can have a conversation about big, important issues that matter to the American people without vitriol, without name-calling, without the assumption of the worst in other people's motives.
Well,
what happened?
Here's what's happened. The campaign made a determination that with less than a month to go, ramping up the rhetoric, calling the governor the worst source of things, was going to be politically more effective in the short term than saying, look, we have differences and disagreements on the issues. The president tried that in the debate. It didn't work. And now they're going back to a formula, Megyn, that has worked, even as Pat suggests. It's divided the country, And we wrote about that.
But it's one thing if he just came out before the debate and said, look, Governor Romney's not giving it to you straight. I'll tell you the truth about what his tax plan is going to do. Is it any accident, Pat, that this line started in earnest across the board the day after the debate?
First, it started with he wasn't being truthful.
And by the way, Rasmussen is now showing Romney up 2 points nationally, 49 to 47, which is the first time he's shown him 2 points ahead in a long time.
What's happening as the polls tighten and the swing states start coming in is we've gone from he wasn't being truthful, he wasn't, all the way up to being a liar. The worse the numbers get, the higher the pitch of rhetoric gets. But I keep saying the president's walking into is building himself a potential trap because of because of the clip you showed. If I were advising Governor Romney for this debate, I would trap the president to either saying to my face what he and his campaign are saying or not. And let me tell you something, this town hall debate, remember, these are real people. They don't like this stuff. And the president's got a problem. If he goes too harsh on the attack, they're not going to like it. And if, on the other hand, he does it...
I asked that of Steyerwalt earlier, because whenever we have Frank Luntz on, he shows us the dials. Right. When the ads go negative by either side, the lines go down.
Let me let you in, Megan, on sort of an insider's point. Pat, I think, has seen the same thing. The dials can go negative, but the vote can go down. And the bottom line here is I believe the vote goes down in their polling and their testing, and they, the Obama campaign, believe that it is a risk worth taking for one other reason Pat suggested, and that is that the Romney campaign has not been adept at playing political jiu-jitsu and coming back at the president.
Yes. But is it what I'm trying to ask you is this a potential cause? Maybe the American people would have responded to this if it had happened before 70% of them said Barack Obama lost the debate.
Yes.
Does it look like somebody who is trying to blame what was perceived by many as a lackluster debate performance on something other than his lackluster debate performance?
The president's success or not, in my opinion, hangs on his job rating. Whether people continue, he's almost at 50%, at 50%, that's the plus for him. Getting into these weeds for the candidate who was a candidate of hope and change, and I'll be different, is, I believe, a mistake, because one of two things is going to happen. He's either got to go so negative, it's going to turn people off because it's live in front of people, and it's him doing it, or secondly, then what Doug said, the Romney campaign hasn't done, which is say to the president, you say it in your ad, say it to my face.
But was there an opportunity for Barack Obama here? Because the American people are very forgiving, and we've all had rough nights.
Yes.
And if he had come out and said, as he said after the 2010 midterms, we took a thumping. I took a thumping. It wasn't my best night.
Megan,
he's a good man. I'm a good man. We're going to go forward, and I'm going to clarify my position.
Political professional, you have one job, in your terms, to win. A president, he's got a larger job, but this president has one job, and that is, in his terms, to win at all costs. They've seen that this strategy of demonization works. They're going back to something that they believe has produced results, and that's why they're doing it.
Why do you say that's coming from the top? You see some of these top political advisors, and maybe you can believe that they say, look, this is the way we got to do it. He's a liar. You didn't have an off night. He lied. He was a liar. That's the only reason why you didn't come back. Why do you believe that Barack Obama himself said, yeah, this is how we go?
Because campaigns are run from the top down. He met with his advisors the day after the debate. We know that. We have a meeting. They agreed they would pursue this strategy. This thing of the president saying, playing, like this is Henry II in, Murder in the Cathedral. Oh, I have nothing to do with it. No. He is now leading this, and I think you made the right point. The president should have said, I had a bad debate. Here's the difference between us. He is running the risk. This is the candidate of hope and change, and when he takes away why people like him, if that's what he does, he runs a great risk. They are making a terrible mistake.
He just suggested in that 60 Minutes interview that he may have let people down on the hope and change, sort of changing the rhetoric in Washington, but promised that he would get back to that in the second term.
And
so how big a risk is this to already, in the last 30 days, go back to the incendiary stuff instead of the bringing us together?
He's going to the incendiary stuff because in the short term, they believe it'll work better than apologizing. The other side of it is the Romney campaign had one good night, and the Obama campaign is trying to use the $181 million they raised in September, plus the millions more they raised in California last night, to go back to demonizing Romney and go back to an image that was such that he couldn't be elected.
Which was a successful strategy for a while. We saw Romney's poll numbers go down.
Romney wasn't on the stage. but he has been on a national stage. People have seen him. He has another opportunity. That is the problem with this. The strategy has real dangers for the president. And if Romney is smart, he will figure out how to box him in. I know